I'd like to welcome you today to our Vitality Chat. We're very excited today to have Dr. Brandi Benson from Kansas City. She has been a chiropractor for a number of years, and she is a pediatric-only chiropractor. So that's a choice that she has made in her practice, and we're very excited to hear her story and share it with you. Dr. Brandi, would you mind introducing yourself and tell us a little bit about how you got into chiropractic?
Yeah, I am Brandy. I only see kids. It's really fun. I grew up always wanting to be a doctor, but what kind of doctor was a mystery to me. But in fifth grade, we had I found my fifth grade memory book a few years ago, and it wrote down like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I put kids doctor. I didn't put
Really?
pediatrician.
Nice.
And I was like, well, my little self knew
Hmm.
way back when that I was supposed to do this. And so that was really cool to see that I didn't put
Very cool.
That's
pediatrician.
very
I
cool.
didn't put any other kind of doctor. I just put kids doctor. And
Yeah.
that's where I am. And so that was really cool. But I always was going to be a doctor. And that changed throughout the years. My dad was a paramedic. And
Oh,
when you turn 18 in my family, you go get your EMT license so you can go save lives.
Because
So I did that.
yeah,
And I started my college career thinking I was going to go to med school and be a trauma surgeon because that
oh.
sounded exciting and
Sounds
a lot of
exciting.
it would
adrenaline.
be exciting.
But working as an EMT, I know Ken did that as well, and
Yeah.
working in EMS, and you see a lot, and I saw how much the world was unhealthy and
Mhm.
how Western medicine wasn't helping a lot of people get better. I mean, in emergency medicine you do what you do and you save a
Right.
life, but like
Right.
they're still really sick, and
Hmm.
a lot of these people aren't getting a lot of the help they need. And so throughout undergrad I was getting that inkling like maybe med school wasn't for me. But I got accepted to several med schools, and I was going that way, and something inside was like that's not
Right.
right. And so it was I said no to med school,
Wow.
and then I didn't know what I was going to do.
Sure.
And I had been familiar with chiropractic, but it was never like a career path. I was like, oh, that's what I could do. I'd been to chiropractors growing up. My parents took all of us kids to chiropractors for colic and
Mhm.
feeding
Yeah.
issues and sports throughout the years, and I had been to the chiropractor, but I just didn't know. And um in that year I took off between undergrad and going to chiropractic school, I really was looking at all the different alternatives and different, health career paths, and chiropractic just kind of kept coming back. And luckily there's a school here in Kansas City, so that was really
Right.
And
convenient.
that made it very
Yeah.
So
Everyone's there. Yep. Makes it easy.
yeah, so
makes
that's
yeah.
where I ended up. And I it was pretty early on in school that I really felt drawn to like pediatric care.
Hmm.
I think, knowing that the nervous system is the foundation of everything, that nervous system is so important at the beginning, and kids can
Sure.
really benefit from that. And I like to have fun, and kids are pretty fun.
Yeah.
So that's where I went.
I would also imagine that, being an EMT and taking care of people in trauma cases or as they're like saving their life, last hope, that dealing with the general population of back pain, neck pain, and people using chiropractic as their last resort would really kind of not fit into what you really felt like. Yeah, I can see
Yeah,
the
and
difference. Right.
like kids are challenging.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to come in something different every time.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to get those. And I found kind of like my niche of like kids with special needs is
Mm-hmm.
where I kind of got
Sure.
into, because like it's been fun. It's challenging to kind of figure out how am I supposed to do this a little different,
Sure.
but still affecting their nervous system in the way that I know that I can using chiropractic care, which is really, really fun. And that gives me that excitement. And
Good.
yeah.
So what I find fascinating as I listen to you speak is how you really honored that inner voice and your own truth along the way, whether it be in fifth grade saying, I want to be a kid's doctor, and then doing, so many times what is offered to us is what is offered to us. And we don't know the other opportunities that are out there until they're introduced to us. And I think it's amazing that you had pieces of your truth as you were moving on. And I'm sure your life will change. I mean, you're very young and things will change along the way, and listening to that inner voice and saying, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And then building the skill set that supports you in doing that and doing it well. I think that's really something. What were you going to, you have a question?
But yeah, I had this question just because when I hear about like people who specialize in special needs, and it's a tough field. So this is kind of a clinical question, and if you want to answer it, yeah, that would be great. I know you're doing a class for us and probably touch on it, but how do you manage parents' expectations when you deal with a kid who is always going to be less than optimal, not their optimum function, but compared to everybody else, like they're not going to reach that pinnacle of function?
Yeah, I think I grew up with siblings that had neurological conditions. They got the whole alphabet of diagnoses.
Right.
And, my mom was my grandpa's caregiver through his ALS journey. And so
That's
but those diagnoses never stopped anyone from achieving what they could achieve. Like
Right.
my grandpa was still helping me with my, college level math courses without being able to speak. Like
That's
it never
amazing.
stopped them,
That's
right?
incredible.
And so I think that foundation of they still have a life and they're still going to do things, and it's really cool. And being able to have parents bring in their babies. There's one kid that I've been seeing for a few years now, like as an infant, a brain injury at birth, and they were like, they told me my baby is going to be blind and a vegetable, and I need to put him somewhere because he's going to need the level of care that his parents aren't going to be able to give. And I'm like, your baby can see, and your baby is going to do things. It may not do things on the same, speed as other kids, but there's a light in those kids' eyes, and they are worth, being there and caring for them.
Absolutely.
And that kid today, I just saw him last week, and he gives me a little hug when we do side posture and we blow bubbles, and he doesn't speak, but he talks, like we can communicate
Sure,
with
you
each other.
communicate with him.
And if I was like the other doctors that told this family that this kid wasn't worth the time, then
Just put him away, and forget about him.
yeah. And and I think throughout my life, and especially with my own family, my uncle had cerebral palsy, and he was older than my dad. And so, back in the 50s, they would say, put him in the institution. And that's not what my family did. They're like, no, he's part of our family. And so, as a high schooler, and when I turned 18, I got put on the list of caregivers for him. And, it's like, no, they're humans, they're worth it. And, when I see kids that come in, it's like, I'm going to do the best I can to help them be as comfortable as they can in their own little bodies, whatever that body is presenting as, and get them to function the best they can. And just knowing that there's still a person in there, even if they can't talk, or they don't have they can't communicate the way that we normally do.
So your families are very fortunate to have you, because not only did your own personal journey open you to understanding that the journey is different for everybody, and to respect that and to focus on that, and then to be able to bring out the best in each of those, each individual, whatever you take care of. So that's a very inspiring story, and I really want to thank you. I wasn't aware of your own family history that led you to this decision. It's inspiring. It's very inspiring.
It's also amazing that you can understand the idea of, which is the base of chiropractic, is optimum potential, not based on anybody else, not comparable with anybody else. It's your internal optimum potential, and to be able to connect with kids like that and connect with families and let parents understand that, and actually give them the gift to let them understand that there's somebody there that cares about their kid, that it's a human being, that it's somebody that's important, and yet may not be playing soccer, it may not be doing gymnastics, may not be doing something, but that doesn't mean anything anyhow on the big scale of things. So that's pretty cool. I think it's a tough road for a lot of people, and I honor the fact that you can do that, because your ability to communicate with kids who are non-communicable for most of us is a real gift.
I really want to piggyback a little bit on that, because we talk about this all the time. And it's like, we do teach, pediatrics. We teach a lot of other techniques as well. But it's really most important that you find your own journey, you find your own expression of it. It's really important to stay in the game and to be happy, is that you're being true to yourself. And it sounds like you have found what's speaking to you, and I really want to address that to everyone who's going to be listening to this. If you're studying something and it doesn't speak to you, find something else. Because in order to stay in this, you have to be happy with what you're doing, and you have to see the results. And I want to speak to a little bit about that, because I know how hard you study, and I know that you study for a long, I mean, you just take advantage, you take our advanced stuff, you take everybody's stuff. A little bit about that, like your journey and techniques and what you learned, and how you pursued your own study for what, in terms of what you need for your practice.
Yeah, I think the drive to know more and is never stopped or been slow for me. Like I want to know and I want to understand. And I've been fortunate, like I went through the ICPA like through school. So as soon as I graduated, I was able to, whatever time period you needed to be, and get that certification. And then working with, Dr. Monica Berger has been like, her brain is amazing, and learning, the ins and outs and all of that. And then learning with you guys, and like, I think with SOT and like learning with you guys, like the indicators are going to be there no matter what.
Right.
And so, those indicators can really guide you. And then having the foundation of understanding the neurology of everything, and how those indicators affect neurology, and then how you can make those changes, it makes it easy to just keep learning and keep doing it, because you see the results when you can put all those different things together.
I always say that the thing that keeps us in the game is the results. Like, it's and I like the idea of having a map, like I'm not fumbling in the dark, and
Right.
we were just speaking, we were just teaching this past weekend to doctors who are really new to our work, and which of the indicators are there. Like, we're not making these up. This is in the nervous system, and it's for you to sensitize yourself to feel them, and then to be able to know what they mean, and then to have an avenue to clear them if they need to be cleared. So I really appreciate you understanding that behind that. It's not something that we've made up. It's not a guessing game. It's in the body. It's people long before us that discovered them and connected them and gave us a system.
And I think
and even with
go ahead, Brandy.
even with like bodies that aren't typical, or they're anatomically different, and the indicators are still going to be there. Like, I am working with my one adult that I have right now. It has SMA, but he is fused from C2 to L5.
Wow.
And I'm still working with him.
Still working with
he
it,
calls me a witch doctor, because I'm the
Right.
only person that's been able to get him out of pain.
Yeah.
But I'm just following the indicators and doing what I can at the top and bottom. Like, we're not doing anything in the middle, and I'm still able to follow those indicators and make those changes in his body. And I mean, it's really cool.
It's very
Well, it's cool. I mean, the indicator is based on nervous system. So the person's breathing, their nervous system is functioning. And you have, I've had, people have taken care of with Harrington rods in their spine, fusions all over. And I'm like, block vertebrae, all this stuff, hemivertebrae. I had one guy came in with half his occiput was moved. So the bottom line is that the indicators always stay there. And I think it's really great to follow. And the other piece I wanted to piggyback on it is really, I think, rewarding and kind of uplifting to be able to take care of people that other people either are afraid to take care of because they have no skill set, or just don't want to take care of. A perfect example that you gave, and I've seen, and I'm sure we've all seen in our practice, where the medical profession just gives up, like tells a parent, this is the way it's going to be. Like, your kid's never. We have a kid who, was she now 21 or something? Well, never be able to walk, never be able to talk, never be able to do anything. Now I took care of her since she was born. She's 21. She walks. She has a walker, and she walks. She communicates. I mean, she has a life. She has something where they basically said, here's a vegetable, put it in the refrigerator and leave it, kind of thing.
I think that's where our philosophy comes in chiropractic, which is such an important piece, because the medical profession does amazing things, but they approach the body very differently. And they understand this, and there is an innate ability for the body to heal. And we don't even know to what level it can heal. Yeah. We have no idea. I mean, we've all seen crazy things in our practices, and people respond, how they respond. Your story is really inspiring, Brandy, because as I really encourage everybody is to live your life. Obviously, you're a person that likes to be challenged, whether it be academically or intellectually, or so you like this challenge. You're taking on these challenges. You're choosing these challenges. I think it's really inspiring. Is there anything? And you've shared some stories already. Anything that you'd like to share in particular that keeps you going? And maybe some memorable experience or something that just keeps the spark going for you.
Yeah, I see. I mean, the kids that I see are like equally inspiring, you know, and like you can't write off people. And so I think they, you know, these kids that I see and see them try their best every day and, you know, make the improvements, and I get to be a little part of that is really, really cool and really special. And you know, I just go, and my intentions are always going in and like, what can I do to make someone else's life better and more full and more comfortable and easier? And whatever that little piece is what I'm here to do. Which is just really fun and really cool. And the families I see, you know, sometimes I'm like the last resort that, and I know a lot of people that work with kids and kids with any, you know, delays or disabilities. Like sometimes we are the last resort, and, you know, I can't fix everything, but I can affect the nervous system a little bit. And that's kind of profound. So,
And I think you give them hope.
I do. Yeah.
They're not walking into your office and you're not writing them off. You're giving them hope.
You know, and I'm really honest with like, I'm not going to, you know, promise that some miraculous change is going to happen. I don't, like you said, I don't know, but I know what I do is intentional and specific, and
It makes a
you know,
difference.
what changes happens in the body is what's supposed to happen. And that's,
I think what's great about it, and the thing that always kind of, for lack of a better term, pissed me off in the world, whether it be a chiropractor, a dentist, a medical doctor, when they see somebody and say, take the hope out of the parents and say, look, there's no hope here. This kid's going to be X, Y, and Z, or this kid can't get any help. And my understanding of that is simply you can't help that person. You don't have the tool. And what you should do is say, look, I don't have the tools to help your kid, but maybe, you know, and we've all reached that in practice. You know, 20 years ago, the people I saw and the people I see now, I have a better skill set. You have the same thing. We learn and we keep growing. And when someone comes to me, you know, saying, well, they said there's, you know, this is it, there's no hope. It's like, no, you know, you have to change that story right away. Like, look, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what kind of changes we're going to get, but whoever sent you here and told you there was no hope, then basically made the limit of their skill set. And that doesn't mean you have to give up now. And I think that's important.
I think that's a really good point. And
I tell all my patients, like, my whole like philosophy of care is right treatment, right time, right provider.
Awesome.
And
that's great.
That might be me, and it might not be me. And if it's not me, I'm going to help find that next right provider for these families. And so,
and that's going to kind of piggyback on, you know, I know that you're presenting a class for us on just that topic, like knowing and creating, you know, a collaboration with other practitioners, so that if you're not the right person, or if you just need some supplementary help, that you're going to create that. And you've done an amazing job in your community. And I'm looking forward to having you share your expertise with our other practitioners, because sometimes it does get lonely. It does get, you know, when you're by yourself and not having someone else to work on a particular case, especially a challenging case. It does help to have a collaboration. So we're really excited about that, Dr. Brandy, and excited to have you on our team. We're impressed by your story. We're impressed by, you know, what you've decided that your journey in life is. We know that it's not everyone's journey, but it's inspiring that it's your journey. So if there's anything else you'd like to share, we'd love to hear it. We really enjoyed this talk with you today.
Yeah, thank you. I like the opportunity that you guys have, you know, created for all the doctors in the program. And it's really fun to kind of take, you know, my skills to the next level and share. And I think it's a really great thing that you guys have created to allow, you know, younger doctors like me to like continue sharing and growing and learning. And, you know, that's really cool.
Yeah, you know, I think just to piggyback into what Nancy said and what you said, I think it's you know, it's really important that when we deal with people and people get worried about referrals and things like that, it's like most referrals come because people trust you. You know, it's because they feel safe. So even if you take some child and say, look, I can't help this child, I plateaued, refer them out, there's a good chance that those parents will have a really good thing to say about your practice and you and refer other people. And like, we always think that the referral is based on if we fix a child. And we've actually had referrals from people who have left our practice for whatever reason it was, maybe, you know, too long away, didn't like person, but they still refer because they trusted and knew it. And just like you say, you stay focused on your lane and what your internal motivations are. So I think that's really important for everybody to kind of understand that don't play the game of trying to please, play the game, as Nancy always says, be true to yourself. I think that's right. We know you. I mean, I knew that from the moment I met you. So it was really kind of cool to, to watch you grow and watch the process unfold. So, yeah.
Well, thank you, Dr. Brandy. We're really happy to speak with you today, and we will be sharing this with others.
All right.
Awesome.
Thanks for joining us,
guys.
friend. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Yep. Bye.